guys, today we're doing chapter 15, the speaker's voice.
Bias. So what we're going to talk about is we will describe what you will learn after this chapter. Then we will tell you how to control the sound of your speech. We will tell you how to pitch your voice properly. We will say how to adjust your volume, how to regulate the rate, and to pay attention to articulation and pronunciation. And then be aware of the dialects and regionalism. So, what we will learn is how to describe vocal cues and how to facilitate your communication, to explain how culture affects the use of the interpretation of vocal cues, and to effectively give voice to your speech. So, how would you describe your own voice? Like, if you hear it, does it sound pleasant to you? If you think, if you're in the audience, will you listen to yourself? Everyone hopes that your voice is a golden voice. But most of the time it's not true. For example, Abraham Lincoln, his voice was high-pitched, and Margaret Thatcher's voice was really graded. So, however, they had not a golden voice, they mastered the voice and the control of their voice. And your voice is also a really powerful tool if you talk to your audience. How to keep their attendance is all about the sound of your voice. You have to ask yourself these three questions. This is a small mistake I made there. Does my voice help me convey the meaning of my speech clearly? If I were in my own audience, would I be able to listen to myself for an extended period of time? And does my voice enhance or detract the impression I make? If you answer these questions to yourself and you feel comfortable with it, you can go and have a speech. But if you think that one of these 3 points you're not that good in, you have to like maybe watch someone doing a speech, see how they do it, and then like learn from it and teach how to do the speech. There are a lot of stereotypes you get with your own voice. For example, if you have a thin voice, if you're a male, you're mostly suited to be a non-effective listener image of the speaker. And if you're a female, you'll be stereotyped to social, physical, emotional. In another way, if you have an increased rate of a voice, males or females sound like animated and extravagant. And all of these things are not true. Sometimes they are, but mostly, like I said before, Abraham Lincoln had a high-pitched voice, so he would be stereotyped as dynamic, feminine, and aesthetic, what is not true, and the same goes for Margaret Thatcher. Then the pitch of our voice is really important. The highness or the lowness of your pitch it's really important. Like for example, a baseballer, like if he throws the ball, the pitcher, he varies his location of the pitch and his speed of the pitch. Depending on that, he tries to make it more difficult for the batter to hit the ball. First, it's the same. If we change our pitch, it's more interesting to listen to. Instead, if we keep talking in a monotone sounding voice, it becomes really boring to listen to. And that's why we variate it. For example, this sentence here can be like received differently if you change the pitch. For example, if I say, I'm so happy to be here, it sounds like I'm happy to be here. But if I say, I'm so happy to be here, it doesn't sound like I'm that happy. So just by changing the pitch of your voice, this sentence becomes a different sentence. And depending on your pitch, you become stereotyped as well. If you have a lower pitch voice, you'll be considered to be more sexy, to be more masculine, and to be stronger. Than when you have a thin pitch of your voice, you become more helpless in that sense. Then it's really important is to adjust your volume. The loudness of your volume describes how you are received to your audience. If you have to consider your room, you have to adapt to your situation. If you're in a big room, you have to speak more loud. If you're in a smaller room, you have to speak less loud. Depending on how much people are in the audience, you have to change your volume again. And depending on the background noises, you have to change it. And you have to change it so that the last row in your audience should be able to hear it. So if I speak like this, it's really annoying for them to hear it. But if I speak like this, it's also really annoying because you get overwhelmed by the sound of my voice. And then you have a really important thing as well. If you're presenting for a different culture, for example, if you talk to Arabs or Italians, they like a louder voice because they consider it more strong and more masculine. But if you talk to Asians, you have to try to get a smooth voice on because they like to be more gentle.
So it's important to regulate your rate, which is the speed at which you speak. Most people speak between 125 and 175 words per minute. When speaking quickly, the audience will find it difficult to keep up, whereas speaking slowly could bore the audience. Your rate should vary when you want to change the speech's mood. So speak slowly when you want to express thoughtfulness and concern, and when speaking quicker you want to convey excitement, happy, or it could create a sense of urgency. Silent pauses. So it's important to use silent pauses in your speech because the pause emphasizes the meaning of an idea or gives a dramatic impact to a statement. According to 60 Minutes producer, Don Hewitt, the pauses tell the story and they are as important to us as commas and periods to the New York Times. Pauses gives the audience time to reflect on what you've said. Verbal fillers. So one of the things many of us do is fill a meaningful pause with a meaningless sounds like, or so yeah. This can make your presentation look messy and disrupt the natural flow. Articulation is the way you pronounce individual sounds, so it's important to speak clearly in order for the listeners to understand you properly. There are a few examples of words we pronounce wrong. So if you in order to wait, I'm lost where I am. Sorry. Okay, so common errors are adding unnecessary sounds, reversing sounds, or misplacing an accent. To avoid these errors, use a dictionary or check out a pronunciation guide online that shows you how words should be said. What is a dialect? A dialect is a particular form of a language which is peculiar to a specific region or social group. For example, a Northern American might say hello and a Southern American might say howdy. Although there isn't really a right or wrong group of dialects, people do have preferences and regarding their use of language, or may even stereotype others on the basis of their dialects. So the audience would prefer it if you adapt to their dialect. Do you guys have any questions?
Nothing?